Under the blazing heat of the East African plains, wildlife ranger Daniel Reeves lifted his binoculars and swept his gaze across the endless golden grasslands. For weeks he had been tracking a powerful lioness known among rangers as Naira, a solitary hunter with a reputation for fierce independence. What he saw through the lenses that afternoon made him lower the binoculars in disbelief and question everything he thought he understood about predators and survival. Moving silently through the tall grass was Naira, her muscles shifting beneath her tawny coat. But close behind her walked two fragile, spotted shapes that clearly did not belong to her pride. They were baby antelope fawns, barely old enough to stand steadily, trailing the lioness with a trust that made Daniel's heart pound with confusion and dread. Only a few days earlier, Daniel had stumbled upon a heartbreaking sight near a dried watering hole. An antelope mother lay lifeless, the aftermath of a brutal hyena attack that had swept through the area overnight. Beside her body, two newborn fawns trembled helplessly, their cries echoing through the quiet savanna. Daniel knew too well how unforgiving the wild could be. Orphaned animals so young rarely survived more than a few hours. They were unable to feed themselves, too weak to flee danger, and entirely vulnerable to the harsh sun and lurking predators. He had considered calling for intervention but hesitated, knowing that interfering in natural processes could create unintended consequences for the ecosystem. That morning, as Daniel watched from a distance, Naira emerged from the brush, drawn by the desperate sounds of the helpless fawns. He braced himself for a swift and brutal end. Instead, the lioness approached with an unexpected calmness. She lowered her massive head and sniffed the tiny animals carefully, her golden eyes studying them with a curiosity that seemed almost maternal. To Daniel's astonishment, the trembling fawns pressed themselves against her legs, seeking warmth and protection. Rather than striking, Naira remained still, allowing them to nuzzle her fur as though she were their own mother. Over the next 3 days, Daniel documented behavior that left experienced wildlife experts stunned. Naira groomed the fawns gently with her tongue, guided them toward shaded areas during the hottest hours, and stood protectively beside them whenever other predators approached. Though she had no milk at first, she allowed the babies to attempt to nurse, calming them with her presence and keeping them alive through comfort and protection alone. News of the unusual bond quickly spread through the ranger station, prompting wildlife behaviorist Dr. Maya Collins to travel to the area to observe the phenomenon firsthand. She arrived expecting to find a temporary anomaly that would soon end, but what she witnessed challenged years of scientific assumptions. Lions were not known to adopt prey animals, especially species they would normally hunt. Yet Naira continued to care for the fawns with unwavering devotion. Then something even more remarkable happened. On the 4th day, the lioness began producing milk, seemingly triggered by a surge of maternal instinct despite not recently giving birth. The fawns, whom Daniel had named Ember and Luma, eagerly fed, their fragile bodies gaining strength with each passing day. As word spread beyond the park, footage of the unlikely family captured global attention. People from around the world watched in awe as predator and prey formed an extraordinary bond that symbolized compassion in the harshest of environments. However, the sudden attention also drew dangerous eyes. A notorious poacher named Marcus Hale had been secretly tracking Naira, hoping to capture her for illegal wildlife trade. The growing spotlight threatened his operation, and in a desperate attempt to eliminate the attention, he devised a cruel plan to kill the fawns and capture the lioness while she was vulnerable. Under the cover of darkness, Hale crept toward the pride's resting area carrying a rifle and tranquilizer darts. As he raised his weapon toward one of the sleeping fawns, Naira sensed the threat instantly. Her eyes snapped open, glowing in the dim light, and she rose with a silent but terrifying determination. Her roar shattered the night, sending birds scattering into the sky. Hale's hands trembled as fear overtook him, and his aim faltered. Naira charged forward with explosive speed, forcing him to abandon his weapon and flee blindly across the open plains. Rangers, alerted by the chaos, arrived to find the poacher clinging to a tree while Naira guarded the frightened fawns below. Authorities arrested Hale, uncovering evidence of a large trafficking network that had operated undetected for years. His capture led to multiple arrests and the rescue of numerous animals from illegal trade. In the months that followed, Ember and Luma grew stronger under Naira's care, eventually learning to forage independently while maintaining their unique connection with the lioness who had saved their lives. Their story became a symbol of unexpected compassion and resilience in the natural world, reminding observers that behavior in wildlife can be far more complex than simple survival instincts. Daniel often reflected on the day he first witnessed the unlikely trio walking together through the grasslands, a sight that had transformed his understanding of nature's possibilities. The bond between Naira and the two young antelope challenged assumptions about predators and prey, showing that even in the harshest environments, moments of extraordinary connection can emerge. Visitors who came to the reserve left with renewed respect for wildlife and a deeper appreciation for the mysteries that still exist within the natural world. As Daniel shared the story with new rangers and researchers, he emphasized the importance of observation, patience, and humility in the face of nature's endless surprises. If this incredible journey of survival and compassion moved you, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people can discover powerful wildlife stories that inspire respect for animals and the delicate balance of the wild.